Welcome to our masterclass, where we're going to dive deep into one of the most vital roles in all of hospitality asset management, the owner's representative. We're going to focus on the one single duty that really truly defines what it means to be successful in this pretty demanding job.
Hello and welcome. I am a hotel AI expert with extensive experience in modern hospitality operations and performance support. I'm so pleased to welcome all of you students from Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. We really look forward to supporting your professional growth in the hospitality industry.
All right, let's kick things off with a really important question. If you had to boil down this entire complex role of an owner's rep to its absolute core, what would that be? What's the one thing above everything else that spells the difference between success and failure?
Well, the answer, and really the beating heart of this role, it all comes down to a concept called fiduciary duty. Just about every single thing an owner's representative does, every choice they make, it all flows from this one fundamental idea.
So what exactly is fiduciary duty? Well, to put it simply, it's a legal and an ethical promise to act only in the best interest of the owner or the investment group. And listen, this isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's the absolute North Star for every single move you make in this position.
Let's really zoom in on that. This isn't just about making the most profit you can this quarter. No, it's a deep ethical commitment. You are literally the guardian of someone else's major investment, and that demands a level of principle that goes way beyond your average job description.
And to really live up to this duty, you've got to have three things locked down. Think of them as pillars. First, an incredibly high degree of integrity, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of sensitive information. Second, you have to be totally transparent with the owner. And third, you must live by a strict, non-negotiable ethical code. Seriously, these aren't optional extras, they're the price of entry.
Okay, so this brings us to what might be the trickiest part of the job on a day-to-day basis. You've got to maintain what we call professional distance. And trust me, it is a constant, delicate balancing act that's always testing your judgment and your loyalties.
And this slide just lays out that core conflict perfectly. See, on one hand, you absolutely have to build a great collaborative working relationship with the hotel's general manager and the operator. I mean, you need them on your team to make things happen. But, and this is a huge but, on the other hand, you can never ever forget who you really work for. Your number one duty is to the owner and the money behind the whole project.
So here's the bottom line, the absolute non-negotiable. When push comes to shove, and it will, when there's a clash between what the operator wants and what the owner needs, there is no debate. Your allegiance is always, always with the capital provider. That is a line in the sand you just cannot cross.
Now, it's easy enough to talk about all this in theory, but it's a whole different ballgame when your duty gets put to the test in the real world. You are absolutely going to have to navigate some pretty serious ethical minefields.
For example, what do you do if you get a gut feeling that an operator is maybe hiding some expenses to make the monthly report look a little better? Your fiduciary duty is crystal clear. You investigate. If you find out they're pumping up revenue numbers to hit a bonus target, your duty is to report it. And what if a vendor you're personal friends with is bidding for a big contract? You disclose that potential conflict of interest right away. No hesitation, period. But look, this duty isn't just about being the ethics police and catching people doing wrong. As you learn right there at Europe Hotel School London, ethics in this field is also about fairness. The power you have has to be used with a sense of balance and professionalism.
Because here's a real trap you can fall into. If you approach the operator with this needlessly aggressive, combative attitude, you're actually not doing your job. In fact, you could be actively damaging the very asset you were hired to protect. That kind of approach, it just creates resentment and destroys trust. It poisons the entire working environment and creates a toxic culture where nobody feels safe or respected.
And what happens when you have a toxic culture? You guessed it, your best people start walking out the door. You end up with sky-high staff turnover, and that hits service quality, guest satisfaction, and yeah, eventually, the hotel's bottom line.
And that's exactly why true fiduciary duty is about the whole picture. It's so much bigger than just the numbers. It's about protecting the owner's long-term interests, and that absolutely includes making sure you have a happy, motivated team and a beautiful, well-maintained property. It's all connected. So when you manage to walk this tightrope with real integrity, you earn something that is more valuable than anything else in this business. You won't find it on a balance sheet, but it's the ultimate goal: trust.
And how do you build that trust? Well, the tools are actually pretty simple. They're the same pillars we talked about at the beginning. Total, unwavering transparency in everything you do, and a clear, solid moral compass to guide every single one of your decisions. When you operate like that, two really critical things start to happen. First, you build the kind of trust you need to actually have a positive influence on the operator, which leads to a great partnership. And second, you give the investor the one thing they want more than anything else: reassurance.
And that's the end game. That is the promise you deliver on. The investor can sleep at night knowing, without a single doubt, that their capital is in safe, ethical, and very competent hands. That, right there, is the peak of success for an owner's representative.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about as you move forward in your own careers. Because you will face these tests. The pressure is going to be on, and sometimes the lines might seem a little blurry. In that moment, where will your moral compass point?